Welcome to the Postmodern Polymath Podcast. This is episode 112 of the Triple Po. Thanks again for joining us. First of all, hi Lyman, how are you?
Tired, beaten by capitalism, and looking forward to the debate later.
That's right. There's going to be debate at 8 o'clock, I believe, Central, if I'm not mistaken.
9 p.m. Eastern.
Correct. So if you're so inclined, this first one, Turd Bloomberg will be in. I'm not really looking forward to that, so we'll see what happens. Sanders is still in the lead that I've seen, but I think Bloomberg's snuck in second in some polls.
I saw Bloomberg as a whole, like the average worked out to be like 14 or 15%. He should just fall in a pit of lava and turn into the more palatable stop and frisk racist that he is.
I don't know. He just needs to go away.
Yeah. He should go back to being a $50 billion billionaire and fuck off.
It's like he's got nothing else better to do. He's like, fuck it. I'll just.
He doesn't. He's like as old as time. And he's rich. Like, what is he going to do?
Yeah. I'll just buy the presidency. Why not?
You know what? This race has been going on for like a year, 2 years, whatever. I'm just going to buy my way in and have the DNC change the fucking rules so I can join. Cool.
Yeah, so we'll see what he says tonight. Nothing good. Of course, we all know that he's a racist, piece of shit, transphobic, stop and frisker guy.
Yeah, and I will say this because a lot of people don't really know what stop and frisk is. I suggest you Google stop and frisk New York City and just see how that goes. Yeah, but to sum it up, basically, you're not white, cool. We're literally gonna pull you to the side and stop you for no good reason and search you. And this was all deemed as racial profiling and unconstitutional search and seizure. So,
yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, great.
He basically just came out and said that he did it on purpose,
and that it was pretty basic tactics, quote unquote.
Yeah. So we won't spend too much time on his dumbass because hopefully he's just a flash in the pan. I hope.
Hope so.
Also, briefly, I wanted to mention. I don't know if you can see that behind me.
It's glorious.
The painting behind, painting. First of all, it's crooked, I guess. I can't get to go straight. But anyway, that's the thing that I was trying to fuck with when the accident occurred. So I had a friend come over here and put it up for me.
Yo, do me a favor. Put me into the lobby for a second so I can see the whole thing. Because for me, it stops at the cat's head.
All right, well, hold on. That's true. I hadn't thought about that. Hold on, I'm putting you in the green room. Okay. All right, see, there's the cat. And there's the drunk guy. It's the crooked picture, which I can't get to work right. So maybe give it a little flavor and a little personality if it's crooked or whatever. So, all right, I'll put you back in. So it's from, if I'm not mistaken, like the Depression era.
Late 20s, early mid 30s.
He's drunk because that's all you could do. Get away from life. And here comes this bitch ass cat.
I like the crooked, to be honest.
Yeah, I'll just leave it. So anyway, that's their arm news. It is healing. Physical therapy will commence tomorrow, actually.
So how does it feel?
Feels like shit. It's stiff as fuck. It's mostly just stiff.
Does it like actively hurt when you just sit there?
No. As long as I don't move it or lay on it. The problem is when I'm sleeping, I'll lay on it or something. As long as I don't move it, it's fine. But the problem is tomorrow I gotta start my physical therapy, which is gonna be a living hell. I'm sure. I'm gonna have some major pills for that, so we'll see what happens.
I would highly recommend that you invest in gel ice packs ahead of time because they're going to try to sell you them and they're going to be like $12 a
Well,
piece.
I'm not gonna buy them from them.
Well, no, but I'm saying like before you go, maybe on the way or sometime tomorrow, like
Yeah.
hit a Walmart or whatever and just buy a fuck ton of them.
Anyway, so that's gonna happen. Also, just so y'all know, my current. Uh, just in case you didn't need to know this information, I went to the dentist last night and this morning. So,
Last night?
well, no, yesterday afternoon. Sorry, yesterday afternoon was to get some crowns. You know,
How'd
you
that
get the
go?
crowns and they come back. And then I got some more shit today. These are the temps, and I'm getting more. So, like, I actually have teeth now. Say,
So, how is for those of us who have not experienced it? Like, I've had a couple teeth pulled, and I've had had cavities filled before. But like, how is that whole process?
with the crown.
Yeah,
So,
from beginning to end.
basically, it's when your tooth is to the point where a filling's just not going to do it. You're going to have to basically replace part of the tooth. So they'll shave it down to the part where it's still good. There's no like breakage or anything or cavity or anything, and they'll shave it down to a point. Then they get some clay or whatever, model it to like what it's supposed to look like.
Mm-hmm.
However, you know, like let's you have a broken tooth or something, and you get some clay and whatever that clay is going to mold to what it should look like. The remainder of the clay, and they take that clay mold and send it to a lab, and they take that and turn it to a porcelain metal. Well, it's porcelain on the outside, it's metal on the inside.
If you're ever interested, I have a friend that his job is to work in the labs that make the final crowns and fake
Fancy.
stuff. I know. Do they hand? Do they have a mold that they put over it, or do they hand model it?
They hand well both. So they have this little thing they put in. It's just like a little I don't know spoon thing. They stick it in there
Hmm.
and press it up against your tooth, and so it molds up against it, just to get the clay mold or whatever.
Do they do that before or after they shave it?
After, because you got to make sure it's in the right shape first. Because you can change the clay mold, you can't change the tooth once you've done that. So
I would think, in my mind, I would think that, like, let's just say the structure was substantial enough that they would mold that and then do their thing and then put it over it and make sure it fits. So they try to get as original as possible. But maybe that's just me.
well, you don't know what the original is. That doesn't really matter. I mean,
It's true.
You can guess.
It's
It's
true.
basically it's just you're guessing, but they have models to go by. It's not like they're just completely
You don't get a Van Gogh tooth?
no Van Gogh tooth.
No. Salvador Dali is like,
No.
no. That's unfortunate.
So I gotta wait for these others to come back, and then the bottom ones are fucked up, but I don't have time for all that. Oh yeah, and the emergency room bill's $1,500, which is actually less than half than what it was. My insurance wouldn't pay, so I just said I'll just do payments because I'm not fucking with these fools.
How lucky do you feel to have such a great healthcare system?
I'm gonna go ahead and leave that alone. Because we could take this whole show and talk about the garbage
We could.
this system is. We could get somebody on here.
Yeah, we can get a couple somebodies. We could do this. I think we should, because surprisingly enough, I see a lot of people talking about, like, they're not against universal health care, but they're like, oh well, the standard, like, and they're Democrats too. It's like, oh, if we could pay for it. I'm like, listen, like, homie, or people that are like, oh, the wait times, which is not true. You know what? We should get a Canadian.
Well, I actually want a health policy person too.
We could do both.
To give and then
Different things.
Give what the facts are. And
Yeah, we could get a professional. We can get anecdotal first, so it's not lead, and then we could get a professional, or we could do them simultaneously and see where they line up with each other. I don't know. All I know is that America's healthcare sucks, and if you disagree with that, you're an idiot.
At this point, you should know better.
You're objectively an idiot because there's no reason not to know that.
All right, so I figured got all out of the way. We just mentioned that the debate's going to be on tonight.
Yeah.
Current rankings is not really the right word. Polls suggest that Sanders is in the lead by double digits, and Biden's kind of is slipping. Warren seems to be stagnating. Klobuchar seems to think she's a big shit because she got third place, but she just doesn't know what the fuck she's. Nobody wants to fuck with her anyway.
No.
So
I'll take her over Buttigieg though.
yeah, well, I think most people, well, most younger people, old people probably. Well, I don't know how old people square that because they're homophobes, but they're also like
They're like, I don't like this girl,
Centrist.
but he's gay. I don't know how to feel. Bloomberg.
I don't know.
I don't know.
So it should be. I don't know how interesting it'll be tonight. Warren's really going to have to step up something because she's been fading in the polls. She was my first pick, but now I'm kind of. I don't know. Unless she really puts something forward,
She's my second. She's been my second pick.
she seems to kind of drifted rightward, and I don't know if I like that.
Really? I honestly, I've been so fucking busy. Like, I'm basically like 6 weeks behind the current politics.
We'll see what happens. Unless she steps it up, she's going to fade. Right now, the way the top three right now, and I hate to, well, we'll see after this debate. I'm not going to count Bloomberg until I have to. But Sanders, Buttigieg, and I guess you still have to count Biden in. I mean, you can't give that up yet. But
So you looked at the New Hampshire numbers, and I don't expect you to know them precisely. How are the overall polls versus Iowa?
Iowa or New Hampshire? I don't even fucking Iowa doesn't even make any sense.
Nope.
Iowa
So we'll pretend that didn't happen.
Yeah. I don't ever pay attention to what.
So New Hampshire was Bernie, Buttigieg, and Klobuchar. Does that still stand true for the overall?
I have to look at the latest polls. I was actually looking at them earlier. I think it's about the same. But
I'm tempted to pick your brain about this, but I don't want it to turn in like not to like. I'm just curious because most people I know that have. I'm curious what made you pick Warren over Bernie.
Well, first of all, let me look at this poll. There's several polls here. I'll look at the top one's YouGov, and it has Sanders at 24, Biden 18, Warren at 16. That's interesting. Okay. I don't know how much. Bloomberg 12, Buttigieg 11. Let's look at ABC.
Wait, they have Bloomberg a percent above Buttigieg?
That's YouGov. I don't know how.
538.com is a good. Are you?
Well, it's different polls. That's just one poll.
They usually have like a one where they take all the polls and like weight them out. Let me see if I can find it.
Well, unless I'm looking.
I'm not suggesting you're doing anything wrong. I'm just.
Oh well, thanks. I'm glad that you're.
Well, I just didn't want to seem like I'm being a dick.
Well, I mean, you are.
I am for different reasons, but. So while we're surfing,
these different polls, it looks like Sanders is about the same. Biden and Bloomberg has jumped up to third. Warren looks like she's fourth. Buttigieg fifth. That seems to be holding. Warren and Buttigieg swap out, but right now it looks like Sanders, Biden, and Bloomberg are the top three. Almost. So Biden has got too much money to go anywhere yet. So he's still gonna, no matter how many gaffes he makes, he's still gonna.
Since we're on the topic of polls, this isn't relevant to the presidency. You know Sheriff Joe, right?
Who?
Sheriff Joe Arpaio, yeah. Arizona sheriff, asshole. He is leading First of all, he's running again for sheriff.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I've spent a lot of time under that asshole. He's leading the fundraising by a I wouldn't say substantial, but a noteworthy amount compared to his his competitors. And I don't even know who they are, but I don't care because it just needs to not be him. But the vast majority of his donors are not out of Arizona. Not even Phoenix, like not even Maricopa County, like not out of the state. So that's just a little tidbit I read earlier. So here's what I have as the averages for the candidates, Democratic candidates, as of February 19th. And this is all of them like averaged out. Well, I had to search for it. It was not obvious if you went to the webpage. So Sanders is at 25.3%. Biden is 16.6. Bloomberg is 16.2, which is fucking. Ugh. Warren is at 12. Wake my phone up. Buttigieg is at 10.6. And then Klobuchar is 5.6. Steyer is at 2.2. Why is he even running? He should just throw his money at somebody else that's not him. And then Gabbard, again, why?
She's still there.
Because she's an attention whore. Like, that's what she is. That's what a lot of the people are. That's what, I mean, and it's not because I'm not.
God damn it.
Like, I'm not saying I'm not using the term attention whore because she's a female. I'm saying, like, anybody who runs and stays in at this point, when you're that low, you just want whatever currency you can get out of your exposure. She should drop out because she's garbage. Steyer, I don't have anything against him.
He seems okay, but why the fuck? I don't understand his point.
He's rich as fuck.
Okay.
And so he can do that, I guess. Klobuchar, I don't have anything particularly against her or for her. She's just kind of there.
She's on this whole centrist bull. We all have to get together. I can bring the parties together. Blah, blah, blah.
Okay. Let's talk more rock. Huh? How about that?
I'm not big on her. She's just cold fish.
I would take her. Okay, so Sanders is my preferred pick. And for the record, before I get flamed, because I do all the time, I voted for Hillary when he didn't win. So fuck y'all. And you should do it too. If your candidate doesn't win, you should vote for whoever the fuck does. That's not Trump. And yes, I would vote for Bloomberg over Trump, and that makes me want to light myself on fire, but that's beside the point. Honestly, like, I might live stream it. Yeah. But I'm honestly surprised that Bloomberg's doing what he's doing. Biden's not that surprising. Warren being like in the New Hampshire thing, I was surprised she went so low.
I know, that was weird.
That really bothered me.
She didn't get any delegates at all. Her and Biden.
Delegates are fucking dumb.
I don't understand that whole process.
Well, it depends on what state you look at. Because some states are like, well, whatever the majority is, we're going to pledge all the delegates to this. And then other ones are like, well, we don't have to, but we will, but we might, but we won't, but we could.
Aren't most of them proportional?
Like, basically, whoever the vote goes to, they go to?
No, they proportional.
Yeah,
it's not all or nothing.
Yeah.
Winner takes all.
A lot of them, I don't know what percentage, so I can't really say. But if they're going to have a delegate count, I think it should be whoever, like, either all or none or proportionate. But there are states that are not like, let's say you run and you get 99.9% and I get 0.1%. There are states that are not required whatsoever to give you a single one, even in those metrics. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah, I don't know. So anyway, she didn't get any delegates. I don't know what the delegate count is now. It doesn't really matter. It's too early in the process. But We've given you the polls. You make your own decision. And
Most
watch.
importantly, please go vote and get people to fucking participate if they don't.
Yeah, the bigger the turnout, it always benefits Democrats. That's
And
historically accurate.
no, that is true.
So,
For those who don't know, 42 to 43% turnout of the U.S. population. The rest sit it out.
that's
That's
crazy.
that's fucking abysmal. Just for funsies, while I soapbox for like 18 seconds, look up the voter turnout for India.
India.
Do you know how many parties they have?
Oh God, how many people they have?
They
Jesus.
they have like majority of the world's population, and I won't try to like
That's China.
misstate it, but
China.
they have something obscene like
Yeah.
90% turnout or something like that, and they have like 50 some parties or something that's like that.
It says
America's basically got
64 here.
for the whole country.
Yeah. Overall 9 phases. Still more than this.
It is still more, and I stand corrected. But how many parties do they have? Google that real quick.
Jesus Christ, I don't know.
I know my fingers are broken. They're actually bleeding, literally.
So I'm gonna hit on some other news when I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, go for it.
So I heard this story came out of Virginia, and there's this guy who started. There's 8 national parties and 53 state parties and 2,538 unrecognized parties.
Right?
That's
Yeah.
a lot of parties. Ow, fucker.
TLDR, don't move your arm. And if you don't vote, you fucking should. And if you do vote, just because you don't get your way, don't be a fucking toddler about it.
So I don't know if people keeping up with what's going on in Virginia. They flipped blue, and the Democrats have basically just gone on a tear where they're trying to implement all these, actual decent laws. They're trying to make Election Day an actual holiday, getting rid of
Oh, I didn't know that. Are they
Robert
actually?
E. Lee Day.
They're trying to do Election Day a holiday?
Yeah, one of the things, LGBT protection, stuff like that. One of the things they try to do to the everlasting butt hurt of the gun nuts is they were trying to do some gun regulations. Well, of course, you knew what happens. This is going to happen. All these gun fuckers. First of all, they're talking about sanctuary counties.
What is that? What does that even mean?
It's you can have nobody can come and take your gun in these counties. I guess is their idea.
Wait, hold on. We're not talking about immigration. When you say sanctuary county, we're talking about like.
It's a play on that. Is what they're trying. They're trying to be cute, since they can't come up with their own shit.
Oh God, I'm gonna put a pin in that. Go.
Yeah, you're not going to come in and take our guns. The same old shit. Government's going to take our guns. Doop doo. No, that's not how that works. Basically, it's some of these. I don't know if what it looks like is some of these red flag laws. Like if you've committed certain crimes or done certain things, yeah, they're gonna fucking limit your, guns.
Would you like me to TLDR their quick little list? Basically, if you have domestic violence convictions and violent convictions, you don't get to have a gun.
Yeah, I don't understand. There may be other ones. I don't know how strict this one was.
I did a brief Google, and it was basically violent offenders, whether it was domestic misdemeanor or felony violence, or felonies in general, because that's how America works. You don't get to have a gun.
I don't see how that's, and of course I don't know. I hadn't delved that much into it, but I don't. I guess there are other common sense things like background checks and shit like that. I'm assuming. I don't know if they've gotten that far yet.
They're gonna take our guns because they're gonna run my background.
Well, anyway, one of the story that came out I saw today was this guy who founded this gun control group in Virginia. He's a delegate. Virginia has different names for their houses. It's like the House of Burgesses and the House of Delegates or some weird shit. But this guy was in the House of Delegates, and some dude with a gun came out in the street in front of his house as a
Oh, dude, I
protest.
saw this.
And he just standing there.
So, Chris,
And he just like in protest because he tried to. They tried to do an assault weapons ban, but it didn't pass. From what I heard, it was because the definition of assault weapons was they couldn't agree on, which I've heard that argument before.
it's just it's pettifog. You know what? Like this, until further notice, I think the theme of all politics is pettifogging.
That's a funny word.
I love that word. It's the best fucking word. So, okay, Chris, you're like, okay, I'm gonna vote to not let people have extended magazines and high velocity rifles. So I stand outside your window and stare at you while holding a rifle. What do you do? Are you intimidated, or are you like, this is just one of my constituents just voicing his opinion? And for the record, he asked the police, the
Yeah,
senator,
he said there was
congressperson,
nothing they could do because he's on public property.
but he asked the cops to ask the guy to please come to his office and speak to him or protest at his office, and the dude refused. He just decided he's going to stand outside the man's home with a rifle, which is not fucking creepy at all. Like, First Amendment, like, go fuck yourself for a second. Like, I'm sorry, if you're standing outside my house with a gun, that should be a problem. That should just be a problem.
Well,
It should.
I
You're
mean,
outside my house.
at some point, man, what's it gonna take? What if black people start carrying guns? What if we get the new
Uh,
Black Panthers in there?
I will tell you what will happen, because we can just rewind to the original Black Panthers. And when they were like, we're just going to carry guns and exercise our First Amendment, the Republicans emphatically were all about gun control. You should Google that if you don't know,
Yeah. So,
viewer.
of course, I'm not gonna tell anybody. I'm a privileged white guy. For me to tell anybody to go do some shit like that would be asinine, to say
To
the
do
least.
what? To do what,
Black
Chris?
people to fucking put themselves in danger,
You know
for a
what?
principle that I wouldn't do myself.
For the record, if black people do that, black persons, whoever you are, I will 100% show up with you.
Yeah, actually, if something like that happened, I probably.
100%.
So
I'll be
that's
the
what's
meat
going
shield in
on
the
there.
front.
What we're seeing is Virginia basically split in two. So we've got Northern Virginia, which is basically the suburbs of D.C. And of course, as everything else, that's spreading out because nobody can afford to live in D.C. It's all these, defense guys and all these professional workers, and they're all liberal. Most of them are liberal, right? So they're starting to spread down south. So now you got Northern Virginia, but then you got the part of Virginia which is basically just redneck Virginia, right? The good old boy South bullshit.
Not West Virginia redneck, but like the spillover, kind of.
Yeah, but it's funny that some counties in Western Virginia want to secede from Virginia
God,
and
I wish
become
they
part
would.
of West Virginia.
Wait a minute. Let them fucking go.
No, because then what about the people? West Virginia's a shit.
No. You don't let them take the land. You like at this point, anybody in that deliverance pseudo-Nazi whatever frame of mind, let's subsidize their asses and move them into what is West Virginia. The people that are good in West Virginia, move them out of West Virginia, and then we can build a wall. How about that?
Yeah. So that's what's going on in Virginia right now. This whole thing with the guns, of course, is the biggest thing. But of course, anything having to do with progress, they always fight anyway. So, and I don't have a complete list of the things Virginia is trying to do, and I should. But the main ones, like I said, gun control, assault weapons ban, LGBT rights extended. Pretty sure Election Day is a holiday. I'm pretty sure they got rid of that fucking Robert E. Lee Day or whatever the fuck it is,
Fuck Robert Lee.
where they celebrated that MLK Day. I mean, come on. That's like celebrating the KKK and the NAACP at the same time or some shit. I mean, come on. Of course, they would argue that the NAACP is just as bad because they're a terrorist organization. Okay, whatever, white man. So,
That's so white of you, Chris.
so Virginia, they stepping up, and I gotta say, they're nutsy trying to do all this stuff. But
So when to just clarify the things that you said you're not sure all the things that they're trying to do. You talking about specifically in the gun legislation, or are you talking about
just in
all
general,
legislation?
just all their slate of laws they've been trying to pass since the Democrats took over the government legislature in Virginia. There's been a whole bunch of shit.
I'm looking it up while we jibber jabber because
So of course, while Virginia gets better, the rest of the South gets worse. They're trying this there's a slate of hate. I don't know what it is, man. I really don't. They're trying to now their focus is trying to get LGBT kids, teens, where they can't even get a doctor to the whole trans if they want to transition or whatever. They're just trying to make that fucking even more difficult. Um, I know in Tennessee they're making it where uh, adoption agencies can discriminate based on what do they say? Strongly held beliefs or whatever the fuck it is,
well,
or whatever the fuck. So they cannot let gay people adopt kids. Like they don't care about. It's just like they don't care about facts because studies after study has said that kids are perfectly fine and sometimes even better than regular parents for kids. I don't. They just don't care. This is all fucking just hypocrisy. It's fucking. It's just hate. It's just ignorance.
It's bigoted fucking religion is what it is. Which synonyms, but
I mean, it's just so infuriating.
oh my god, I saw the other day there was who was it? Oh, Rush Limbaugh, preemptive R.I.P. Burn, bitch. Yeah, I said it. I'm sorry, everybody else.
Okay.
So he was like something to the tune of, "How do you explain gay people to children?" And okay, so the short version of my answer was like young kids only have reference based on what they're told. So if you don't make it weird, it's not weird. That's pretty much life because they don't know anything. And I was shocked, honestly shocked. People that are not particularly religious and things like that. People in the atheist community that were like coming out and being like, whoa, survivalism and, biologically, like people are bigoted and it's a survival thing. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? I'm going to light myself on fire again. Like I can only do it once theoretically for Bloomberg.
I know what they're doing here. And let me just,
do
first off, obviously I'm not agreeing with that, but there is survival. There is the fear of the other. And that is true. And they prove that even in babies, where if you present pictures of people who are similar looking to them, then they react better to them rather than others that don't. Now, okay, fine. Even if we take that, even if I concede that for
on a rough point,
if you're born maybe with a vague fear of people who don't look like you,
so okay,
that fear and that it's primal, really. It's not even, it's not thought. It's not in your human brain. It's in your reptilian brain, your arm brain, or whatever.
I don't want to interrupt you. I'm just clarifying because I want to make sure I'm with you because I think I am. Like, So if I'm born with, let's just say, 3 arms, and everything I know forever has 3 arms, and then I meet you who has 2 arms, I'm more comfortable with what I'm familiar with
Yeah, basically.
because I have 3 arms. Like, and we're talking about little kids,
Right. We're
so
talking
it's like
about as they're
familiarity is comfort.
right. So this is not controversial. I don't think. I mean, we were. It generally is safer to be with somebody people that look more like you because that means they're friends. Usually, of course, we've obviously evolved past that, but a lot there is
Yeah.
there is evolutionary throwbacks, and that's just a fact. Like we used to have a tail, probably. I don't know. We evolved
How vestigial
through
of you.
we've evolved through different species and all kinds of shit. I'm not going to get in the whole dark cat.
No, bring her in and hug it.
No, she'll
It's love.
break everything.
It's love.
No, that's
In a
not
nutshell, what's familiar when you're little, and maybe to certain degrees when you're older, it's a point of comfort. If I'm
right.
misstating what you're
So
saying,
right, but what I don't atheist, and when I say atheist, I mean capital ATM atheist.
patent
He's
pending.
yeah, no, patent's not pending because these motherfuckers are professional atheists. They like to sit around and be rational, act like they're rational and everything. Well, let me explain to you, and they try to couch everything in rational terms, and they can try to. It's annoying as fuck. Okay,
Hyper
so
intellectualize and bullshit their way through something that doesn't need to.
yes,
It's not that
yes,
complicated.
they're trying to sound smart. Is what it comes down
Yeah,
to.
yeah. Pseudo intellectuals. They are the atheist version of the JBP people.
So, even if that was the case, you unlearn that. It doesn't take anything to overcome that at all. It's just a vague kind of thing that's there. Once you learn, once you are exposed to other people, once you are taught that other people are good or fine, that you can trust people, then that just goes to that's not even a thing, right? But to use that as an excuse for people, like you said, uh, to use that as some sort of justification of why they would pass law. I guess some way that's just craziness. You are taking some tiny correlation, maybe, and then exploding it out to something that has nothing to do with that.
My response, like the whole premise that you're talking about, is the same general premise of like if you have a baby or a small child and they're used to seeing your face, my face, stuff like that, human faces, and you put a mask on and come out, that they're alarmed, that sort of thing. Like, if I'm roughly explaining it, like things that are familiar to small children and children is going to be more comfortable and less alarming. Fine. Children don't know the difference. We're talking about people that are pre-sex ed, understanding where babies come from, like the age that you feed them the stork story if you're from 1989. You don't need to explain to them why a woman and a woman, or a non-binary and a woman, or any amalgamation or combination of genders or non-genders are holding hands, hugging, showing affection, and kissing. Like, you don't need to explain that to a child, because if you don't make it something that is a thing, they're not going to fucking ask. Like, what I think this person, after a long, drawn out, probably more than I should have ever fucking given them worth of time and effort.
You tend to do that.
I do. But maybe I'm an optimist, maybe I'm just stubborn. I don't know, maybe both. It's at the end of the day, like, social norms and biological tendencies of survivalism are not the same thing, because we know, like, gay people existed way the fuck before any of this bullshit, like exponentially longer than where we're at now as a country and as a society. and it wasn't necessarily controversial at all. And they would probably look at this conversation right now as like, so why are you explaining why we need to eat? Like, it's kind of just what we need to do.
So yeah, I mean, kids
It's
are
like,
taught. You teach kids what you want them. I mean, you
don't
don't
make your
make
kids bigots.
don't don't bring them. There won't be none. Right. So.
Right. Yeah.
I
Like,
mean, hey, look. Why are they kissing? Because they like each other. Oh,
like, I don't,
okay.
right? Like, it's super simple. I don't, when I go to the grocery store in Arizona and I see people packing one or more giant handguns on them, and my 7 year
They
old,
do that.
hell
Really?
yeah, you can go to the gas station, you go to Walmart, you can go to a grocery store, and
I've
there's
never
somebody that's
seen that in
got,
real life.
oh my
Actually.
God. Well, if AACon works out, I will take you there,
Well,
sir.
go ahead.
Because Arizona's basically got no gun laws. Like, I'm not like, oh, how do I explain this man with a giant hand cannon on the side to compensate for his penis size to my 7 year old? Like, I just don't make it a thing. If he asks, I'm like, yeah, some people do that. I think it's dumb. You shouldn't do it either. That's fine. Like, because it can hurt people. That's not the same as, like, just don't make it a fucking thing. Like, even if you're like, ew, gay people are icky, and you can't help that somehow, like, just shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
Like,
basically.
really, just shut your fucking
You
mouth.
can't make
It's that
somebody
easy.
think some shit, but I mean, just shut the fuck up. Nobody wants to hear about
Chris, beards are icky. How do I explain your beard to my
it.
child?
Just shut the fuck up. It's
Yeah,
like I've
see,
heard
it's
this. So
super
it's your
easy.
shitty kid. What the fuck you asked me for? You figure it out, asshole.
How dare you, Chris? You forced me to explain your beard to my children.
So
How
it's
dare
just
you, not
fucking
me?
ridiculous.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid.
And of course, with this whole thing, the Project Blitz, where the Jesus freaks are trying to put Christian laws in
Wait,
like
what's
every.
Project Blitz?
Oh, it's this. They've renamed it now to something else to make it because everybody's heard of it now, so they've renamed it. You know how they do that.
They're like, we only need to go halfway to Blitzkrieg, and it won't be
Well,
associated
no,
with that.
it's like they rename it and it gets too well known, so it will be under the radar. Because Blackwater got so well known that they changed it to like fucking what was it?
They're like murky fluids. Like, oh,
Yeah,
okay,
some
that's cool.
weird name,
That's
just
fine.
weird.
Yeah.
So it's something else now, but basically it's this idea where they try to make model laws, Christian fucking extremist model laws for states, so they can try to pass them in these different red states.
Is that like I shared a thing, I don't know if you saw it or not. I shared a thing where there was some dude, I don't know who, but guess what? He's a Republican. Is like basically suggesting that they make lists of people's sexualities
Oh my god.
so they can hand out stiffer punishments for crimes.
Yeah, I saw. No, I don't. I don't think that's why. There was a reason. I think it had to do with.
Like, we can stop at making lists of people's sexualities, and like the reason
Well,
at
yeah, it
that
doesn't
point,
really matter
like
why.
at
I
that,
mean,
like, for the record, like, I know it's like almost a faux pas now to say someone's a fascist, but that's like straight up fascist. Like,
yeah.
replace sexuality with any other thing.
Yeah, they're using sexuality to determine the severity. If you're married or something and you're caught
Or
fucking
communist
around
or
with,
gay
I
or a
don't even
Jew
fucking. It's
or
just so
whatever it is.
stupid.
Like, it's interchangeable.
And the
It's
guy
fascist.
almost certainly has got something in his closet.
He's got like 2 boyfriends
He's got something.
and a sugar mama.
And I would like to be, periodically. Well, he's probably got has some still standing. Larry Flint has that thing where he'll give you like $1,000,000 if you bring him irrefutable proof that a politician is like
Really?
done some, oh yeah, is like gay or something.
I'll
like,
dig.
it's done some criminal shit. I don't remember exactly what.
Like, basically, you out their wrongdoings.
Yeah. If they give them stuff like that, I would pay. Lindsey Graham, that would be the highlight of my life right there.
Now, Lindsey Graham or Mitch McConnell? You have to choose.
I don't care.
Or you get none. Like, which?
Mitch McConnell.
Yeah,
No
okay.
doubt.
We're on the same team.
That turtle motherfucker.
I
So
would
we'll.
punch him for a pass. You know what? I would punch him for charity.
I think most people would do that.
I'd fight
But
him, Lindsey Graham, and Trump simultaneously for charity.
so we're gonna try to, because that's we're trying to get to
Spin it back
debate.
around. Yeah, we got to watch the debate.
There's a couple more things I want to mention.
Go for it.
American Atheist is coming to Phoenix Easter weekend, and I am Easter weekend Phoenix. It's 9th through 12th. Technically, nothing's going on the 9th. It's stupid shit. Really, it's the 10th, Monday, Friday morning until Sunday afternoon. I think is when all the real shit happens. So I am considering going. I've just gotten a message from Debbie, who set us up last time, or set me up to go last time with the ticket. So this is going to be a little more planning because I'd have to fly to Phoenix, and so what needs to happen is a couple of things. So Lyman needs to get up off his ass. I know he always complains about working too much, and Lyman is one of the whiniest fucks you will ever meet in your life. So,
It's not entirely true or untrue.
seriously though,
Can I tell you a secret? I will actually be in Phoenix already for that. That's my final weekend schedule with my son.
well, if you're with your son, that's fine.
So I'm working out, that family stuff.
I mean, obviously that's more important. But what I need, and I'm asking you now live, Lyman, is we have discussed that you have a spacious abode
I
in
have a
Phoenix.
place.
Yes. If it would be possible, even if you were not there, let's say for some reason. Oh wait, your son's going. You have your son, don't you?
It's tricky. So I'm not saying no, but it's
I forgot
possible.
about that. Well, anyway, it's if
It's possible.
worse comes to worse, I will save that hotel. I guess we'll see.
I can help you with that. Let me just say this right now. Because I still am a legal Arizona resident, I can get discounts at some pretty good hotels because they want people to staycate.
I mean, I don't even have to stay at the place. Uh,
No, but I'm just no. I'm just saying, like a lot of Arizona, Phoenix thrives off of tourism, and so during this time when that is not the peak of tourism. So most of the time, almost all the time, they offer if you have somebody help book it, and they have an Arizona driver's license, you get like a wicked good deal. We're talking like double digits for a night.
all right. Well, I've looked at the flights. It's gonna be like $500 round trip probably to fly
Really?
out there. And well, that's what it's looking like right now, unless you know some.
I'll help. I fly there often,
I don't
so
know.
I'll help.
But that's what I'm looking right now. If I get a free ticket, that's fine.
Patreon goal.
I ain't worried about that. I've already got a free ticket. Only thing I need, it's a place to stay. That'd be the only other thing. So, anyway, one other thing before we go, I wanted to bring this up briefly. Some of y'all, well, a lot of y'all probably know who Ishmael Brown was. Well, he died. I posted a fairly long thing about it on my Facebook page. I don't want to get too much into it. He did some problematic things while he was still alive, and a lot of people kind of disowned him because of that. And yeah, he did some fucked up shit. And people tried to help him out, and he was kind of stubborn and didn't want to take the help. And it's just one of those things. And he's had some issues. He had addictions. I wasn't keeping track of him lately. Apparently, he had been having issues. I'm not going to speculate. I had heard it had something to do with intestines. I don't fucking know. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. He died. And one thing that he was a black man in a community, podcast community, who didn't have any, as far as I knew, people of color. Of course, if I'm an asshole if I miss somebody, but I'm pretty sure there isn't. So just for the representation alone, and he was always pretty. He had no problem talking out, against shit he saw was wrong with racism, and sexism, transphobia, all that kind of stuff. So he was never shy about kind of talking about those subjects. So the fact that he was able, and of course he did talk to a lot of people and he did help people. You know, he wasn't always just a shithead or whatever. I mean, he just happened to do some fucked up shit. But that doesn't. I don't think that we can hold both things in our head at the same time. So he did some fucked up things, but he also did some things that helped some people out. And he was the representation was a positive aspect for our community. So anyway, rest in power, Ishmael. Um,
Indeed. And you know what? Like, I guess the overall message is none of us are perfect, and we all say and or do stuff that is not right or good, but at its core, it matters most what people do as a whole and where they're coming from. And in my experience with him and his podcast, he came from a place that was good and well intended. We all have our demons, and it's okay to let those demons go when people pass away, and see them not necessarily forgive everything, but not make it what defines somebody, because we're all very complicated, no matter how good you are. And so, yeah, R.I.P.
well, we're gonna cut it short this week because the debate's on. So join us in watching the debate, or do something more productive like drying your hair.
Or painting your cat's nails. That's what you're gonna do,
I
right?
would never. That's actually abusive, and I would punch
How
somebody
is that abusive?
because it'll lick it off, dude.
No, man. You
It
get
just ties it.
non-toxic. You get the
But still, the
non-toxic.
cats.
You get
I
you get
don't
the
like
kids
people who
stuff.
do that kind of shit.
Well,
Cats are
I
not
don't.
meant to be dolled up like they're your playthings.
Okay, fine. How about this? You just get them a sweater that's very loose fitting and it's comfortable. If you
Lyman,
live,
you don't get any animals. No animals.
I love cats.
No, don't come around my cats, motherfucker.
How
Not with
about I
those
just come with
fucking.
a snuggie and hug them? I can't
Alright.
even snuggie them if I'm
Alright.
wearing the snuggie.
If you're wearing a snuggie.
Yeah, yeah, and then I burrito them. I wrap them up like a
Alright,
burrito.
well, you just don't do it on them separately. That's all I'm saying.
No, not against their will.
Fucking shoulder. All right. Well, next week we'll be talking about how I fucking cried my eyes out tomorrow night because my shoulder's so fucked up.
And how much ibuprofen it takes to make Chris not cry.
And how much time it takes me to bug Lyman until he answers my fucking question about what's going to happen in April. But
7.5 days.
7.5 days. That's when we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, until next time, y'all take it easy now.
And get out there and vote.